Welcome to the Grappling Grappling Rewind Podcast.
Welcome to this week on the Grappling Rewind Podcast. On this week's show, we're going to recap Submission Underground 14 and Fight to Win 142 that were both stacked and had some great matches on it. We're also going to preview Who's Number One, which is headlined by Gordon Ryan versus Kyle Bain, and some other great matches, and preview Third Coast Grappling's Kumite 1. As always on the show, I'm your host, Maine, joined remotely with my co-host,
Josh.
How you doing, Josh?
I'm going slowly insane.
It's been an interesting week. So again, we're still kind of quarantined. Maryland is not open back up yet. We're not sure how long we're doing this for, but the show is going to take a slight audio hit that I'm going to try to fix as much in post as I can. As soon as we're all through this, we'll go back to the show sounding good again. But until then, I'm going to do the best that I can. Let's kick the show off with a little bit of news, Josh. First of all, actually, how's your week been?
Fine. I went to a waterfall today. I've been messing around with the new camera that I got.
That's nice.
Been fun. I've not been doing jiu-jitsu.
All right, wink, wink there. I have mats in my house, so we started training again. So that was I'm super sore for no reason. But sounds like it's good you're good, Josh. I'm happy that, that everything's not on fire. Let's see. Let's talk about some more fun stuff. ADCC has finally been announced for Vegas. It was kind of announced earlier in the year, but
super official.
Now it's like super official, even though there's not really been an official statement. But Mo is basically going, yeah, it's Vegas. Like, and everyone knows it's Vegas, and like it's Vegas now. So 2021, if events are happening, it's going to be in Las Vegas. I'm super excited. Already looking at flights, already looking at hotels, even though we're a year out, just to get an idea of what that's going to cost. Mo has also been doing, Mo Jassim, the event organizer for ADCC 2019 and 2021, is also doing some like breakdowns of a bunch of matches from 2019, talking about the scoring and how things were scored and why things are scored a certain way and why he may potentially disagree with certain calls of like how things are scored based on the rules. Super enlightening. He's actually going to do like a bigger breakdown series going through the entirety of the ADCC rules with the head refs from ADCC. He's planning to do that, I think, sometime this year. So I'm really looking forward to that. Again, I'm a rules connoisseur. I know Josh is also a king of the rule book.
Yeah. Breaking news. Josh Weinstock of Grappling Rewind is going to do ADCC trials at 77 kilograms.
At 77?
Yeah.
Are you going to cut a leg off?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. I was like, can you make 77?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I make. I made 145 this week, accidentally, by running 50 miles this month.
66? You're 66.
Yeah.
77 is about 170 pounds.
You could make 170.
Yeah, it's a bit of a it's a bit of a hustle, but yeah.
Sweet, that's super exciting. I'm going to be there shooting footage, so I'm excited for that. Again, I'm not sure that should be November
November-ish,
if
probably.
Everything turns out well.
If the Rona goes away.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
So I think that's all I got for ADCC news. Again, I'm super excited about ADCC, even though it's like literally a year away. We're starting to get close to trial season. Guys are starting to talk about, doing trials, and so that's exciting. In other news, Mackenzie Dern hit the first leg lock in women's UFC history last night, or 2 nights ago at the point of this coming out.
Yeah. Being as that the UFC's women division hasn't been around that long, not surprised that it's the first one.
What, 2013? 7 years?
No.
Am I thinking flyweight? Flyweight's 2012, right? 2012, 13. I thought women's division.
Something like that.
I thought Rousey and Tate, the first one, was like 13 or 14.
I have no idea, and I'm...
Yeah, because Rachel and I's first time meeting was
Holy shit.
Am I right?
November 2012.
Okay, I thought it was close, yeah. Rachel and I's first meeting was a Ronda Rousey fight.
Damn.
So I know that was 5 years ago. Yeah.
8 years ago.
In 8 years, this is the first
shit.
women's leg lock ever. And again, Mackenzie Dern is definitely one to do it. I think we talked about one of her matches, not too far away in the show. I think you were on the show. We did it. Talked about her win over Michelle Nicolini, the toe hold finish at Worlds.
Yes.
Mackenzie Dern has legit leg locks, so it's cool to see her get one in MMA. I love that we're starting to see the leg lock kind of meta go back into MMA after sort of being pretty devoid for a lot of years. So, it's cool. There's not a UFC card we don't see a guy throw up a heel hook nowadays. So, cool to see her. Dern also looked good, too. Her weight looked good. Like, the cut looked good. So,
Post baby, she's
big
putting in the work.
Yeah.
Winning
Other
one for
UFC news.
little baby.
Yep. Other UFC news. Dorino, Gilbert Burns took on Tyron Woodley.
That ass.
Dude, he looked good.
He smoked him. He beat the ever-loving bejesus
That first
out of
round, I
Tyron
thought, it was like,
Woodley.
is he going to finish Tyron Woodley in like 3 minutes in the first round?
Dude, Woodley was talking so much shit about how he didn't deserve to be in there with him, and he got his shit pushed in.
Dude, Dorino's really good.
Dude, he beat him up after watching that fight. And mind you, like, I was struggling to stay awake because I had just like finished working and I had been at work for like 12 plus hours. And I'm struggling watching this fight. And I'm like, oh my God, he's murdering him. What's going on right now? Am I having a dream? And then, like, I'm watching it and it's like, nope, he won. And then I passed out.
Dude, but he looks good. Again, he's probably, Woodley was the #1 contender, former champion, not defending champion, but like had defended the belt. Like, you know, Woodley, Dorino is potentially now in the rankings for like Usman. He wants the Covington fight, and I want to see, basically he called out Covington in his post-fight, not his post-fight interview, in the backstage interview after the fight. He called out Covington hard. It's like, hey, you talked all that shit about Brazil, like, I'll make you pay for that. I'm like, I would totally watch Dorino take on Covington or Usman or Masvidal. Like, there's not a fight now in the top 5 or top like 10 even that I wouldn't watch him, do.
I'd love to see him go against more of like an elite striker, like a Wonder Boy, just to see like if he can take that fight and win that fight, give him Usman and see how he does with the wrestling, or if he has that Colby fight, like if he stops the wrestling there. I'm not saying he's going to stop Usman, but like there's no doubt about him, being the next contender for that belt.
Yeah, the way you beat Woodley, like Usman beat Woodley like that, and that's it. Like, then you're up there with like how Usman beat him, and Usman is a world beater. So again, super excited. Love to see guys in that come from jiu-jitsu. And Dorino still competes in jiu-jitsu. Like, we cover him like super frequently on the show. So it's cool to see a guy like go from professional jiu-jitsu, like the highest level of jiu-jitsu, in the modern era, and then transition over to MMA and be able to get to the highest levels of MMA. Like, it's really cool that you can still do it. Again, you got to be a special athlete like Dorino, but I'm a fan of jiu-jitsu, so I'm really happy when it's like, yeah, guys from our sport can make it work.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Kumite, for the bracket for the Kumite 3 for Third Coast has been announced. It is Hot Spicy Fire. Super excited about it. Let me pull up the screenshot here. I love that we're doing the show enough years where I can see a bunch of faces and I just know who everyone is now. Like, that's a great like little milestone to finally flip, is I can see just visuals of brackets and like, I know that guy, that guy, that guy, that guy. There was a Reddit comment, and someone was one of the other Third Coast brackets. It had Canuto listed, and somebody in the comments was like, which Canuto is this? And I was like, that's Jamie Canuto. I can just look at the photos. Like, it's a cool thing to finally be able to do after years of like doing this show. We got Vagner Rocha, Robtero Jimenez, Kade Ruotolo, Cody Steele, John Combs, Dante Leon, Pierre Olivier Leclerc, and Johnny Tama in that bracket.
Let's see. Well, we already had one of those matches with Tama and Leon.
We're going to talk about this today.
Yeah. Jimenez is, while a great, still I would consider a dark horse. Vagner, always tough competitor.
Mm-hmm.
Cody Steele, tough competitor. There's no like slouch in that division, really. And
awesome.
The only thing is like Jimenez making the weight. It's under 180, right?
Yeah. I think Jimenez,
he's looking beefier and beefier.
I don't think he's I thought he was like, he's under 190, I think. I don't think he's above 190. What do you fight Keenan at?
Well, Keenan was bigger than him. Keenan's a super heavyweight. I think he's a heavyweight, and that puts him at like 195-ish.
Okay.
So maybe the 15-pound cut won't be too bad.
For 10 grand, you'll make the cut?
Oh, absolutely. I'd make
And
the
again,
cut
so
for
that's an
$1,000.
awesome bracket. I cannot wait to look at that bracket in more in depth. That's the June 27th card for Third Coast. That's the Kumite 3. Today on the show, at the preview section of the show, we're going to preview the Kumite 1, which is also hot fire, and I'm super excited about it. What else? Did we talk about Spyder Korea got moved to July? We talked about that maybe on
We
the
didn't
pre-show.
you said that. I thought you said it last week too. I can't remember. It got moved though, and
It's in
we
July.
did talk about it pre-show, but it got moved to July.
Yep.
I guess more so of just staying a little bit more on top of
Yeah, it was
people
like
getting sick.
it was like Corona's still kind of a thing. We're gonna move it, and I was like, okay, cool, good for you guys. Again, the names look great. It's a great bracket. Winner gets $5K. Place 1 through 3 all go on to the finals bracket for Spyder. So it's awesome. I don't have any other news, Josh. You got any other grappling news?
Uh-uh.
All right. So let's move into the recap section. Do you want to do SUG 14 first, or do you want to do Fight to Win 142 first, Josh? What you got?
Let's leave Fight to Win for last. Let's do SUG first.
All right. So SUG 14, headlined by the rematch between Vagner Rocha and Craig Jones that took place on EBI 11 back like 3 years ago. Same rule set, except this was a 5-minute match under the SUG rules, which
6 minutes.
was 5. Yeah, they're all 5-minute matches.
I thought it said 6. Apparently, I can't read.
Josh, paying attention. This was an interesting match. Again, it was really interesting to kind of see the contrast on how these two guys matched up 3 years later. Again, Craig, visibly the bigger guy in this match. I think the first meeting was at welterweight, back when Craig, I think, could make 170. I don't think Craig's making 170 anymore. But again, there were no weigh-ins for this. I talked to the promoter or contact with SUG, and they were like, yep, there's no weigh-ins because it's all Corona. It's whatever, the athletes agree to. They come in, and they compete. And it's also only 5 minutes now with kind of the way that they're running SUG. Again, I'm happy SUG is still running events. This was interesting. We saw a lot of that like De La Hiva work and less of the knee shield work from Craig Jones. He'd use it to recover the guard and stop the knee cutting of Vagner, but way more of that De La Hiva underhooking of the far side leg or the close side leg.
Yeah, and just like trying to go for the leg entanglements. And at one point, I think Chael said it, or maybe I just heard Vagner say it, that he shaved his legs.
Yeah, Vagner, because Craig was complaining that Vagner was greasing, and Vagner's like, nah, man, I just shaved my legs. And then the ref was like, yeah, I mean, there's nothing there. I think it's really fun. I think we're talking about with Simon, also does some writing for the Grappling Rewind, and is kind of on the team, was talking about like, okay, so does everyone shave? Is that the strategy now? Do you shave your legs against Craig Jones?
No, I think like Wagner's smart enough to not like really get deeply entangled, because you saw like every time
It was like 2 times.
he got the leg, but still, like anytime he tied up the leg, he was immediately moving off of the center line and trying to create an angle or using his leg to create space to not get clamped down on. I was actually kind of shocked that Craig didn't really just like try to sweep and then come on top and start attacking like that Kimura trap that he does and try to get the back.
Yeah, what he did to Tex and what he's done to Arges, to Gabriel Arges to Grapple Fest. Like we've seen him use it a couple times. Craig was on top at one point, but it was a very
near the end.
Yeah.
And he got on top only because like it was again a leg entanglement. They went to go get up and Craig just ended up on top, but Vagner was back up in a few seconds. It went to overtime, and what Craig was doing when he was attacking the back, because that's a position he chose, was like super interesting.
I wish we had a camera on the other side to see the hands.
Yes.
That was a little frustrating to me, so I could only see the back of the heads.
He really like snaked it through and started locking it in, but as it was getting like defended, he shot it all the way across under the arm and tried to lock it underneath of the arm, and I was like, that's really interesting. I wonder if that's like going to work.
Kind of like a Darce choke from the back, but without the, or like almost like a head and arm from the back.
Like a weird head and arm.
Yeah.
And it opened up enough space to where he snaked it under again and finished it. And it was like a great, like slow squeeze that finished it. And Vagner just couldn't get it done in the time amount that was left.
Yeah. I think it was at 35 seconds is all it took Craig to get that. Like it was
like a minute and some change.
Was it real? I must have had 3 minutes.
Because the overtime clock was counting and it hit like a minute something when they stopped it when Vagner was on Craig's back.
Okay. I must have had the time wrong because I wrote 35 seconds in my notes. But again, super quick. The going to that grip on the back was really interesting. It's something I've tried over and over and over again. And I never had any success finishing with the arm in from the back, ever. So it was interesting to see Craig go for it.
You have short T-Rex arms like I do.
I do. I actually measured my wingspan today, Josh. I measured my wingspan. I have a 69.5-inch reach, which gives me an APES index of 2.
69.5, so 5'9.5". So your wingspan is actually bigger than your height.
Yes, it gives me a 2.5-inch ape score, which is like, McGregor. I then looked this up, and McGregor has a 5-inch ape score. John Jones has an 8.5-inch ape score, which is like a rock climbing term for like the distance above your height that your wingspan is. Typically, it's the same.
My wingspan is exactly the same exact as my height.
Yeah. Artem Lobov has a -3 score, by the way. In case you spent your time today doing this instead of taking notes on the show that we were going to do, and then starting the show 30 minutes late.
I climbed up a rock wall by a waterfall to try to get a better shot with a camera. So there's rock climbing. My ape score is 0. Woo!
Nice. So again, this is a fun match. One thing I want to talk about during the regulation. It was really interesting. You saw really the same tactic that Vinny used versus Gordon in their ACBJJ match. Vagner would spin to the side, and he would do the running man, but on all fours, and then he would start pulling his leg out from that like tripoded running man position out, and he used it like a couple times to the effect. Like he wasn't trying to be clamped down and engage in that position with Craig. He would get there, immediately spin, push once, turn, rotate out, push again. He had a very systematic way he was getting out of it. I really enjoyed it for that. It was definitely a slower match in that respect, but like from a technical perspective, it was like exactly what you have to do to Craig Jones, especially in the rule set where there's an overtime, which is how Vagner beat him before.
Yeah.
So they're now 1-1. Interesting match. Anything else, Josh?
No.
So where do you want to go into this card again? I'm not sure how your notes are laid out versus how my notes are laid out because I forgot to coordinate that ahead of time. Talk about Roberto Jimenez.
Sure, yeah.
Roberto Jimenez took on Don Stoner and beat him in 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Dude, he just did what he was good at, which was get in close. He pulled guard. Stoner tried to walk him up towards the cage and like started tucking his own hand in. I was like, bro, you're about to get triangled. And as I was thinking that, Roberto's legs just shot up and he triangled him.
Yeah.
Like,
Roberto's so good.
There's not much to say about that. Like he was very calm and was like, okay, if you're going to do this, I'm just going to feed this and do this textbook triangle and cut the angle and called it a day.
Yeah, I mean, I wish there was more. I wish there was more technical breakdown we could do.
You can't really say more than that. Like the kid is great. Like I thought again, like you've said it before, we've said it in the chat before. Chael doesn't know about like jiu-jitsu athletes.
Yeah,
he doesn't know about people that compete in the gi or that have like multiple world championships. He's like, oh, this guy's good. And it's like, do you know who the other guy is? No. Okay, well, watch what happens. And
so this match is textbook. That Chael's talking about like Don Stoner and like how good he is, and then he's like he kind of gets hung up on Roberto as 19 or 20 years old, and I'm like, do you know that this guy was like world ranked at black belt? Like his first match at black belt, he beat like the number 2 or 3 ranked guy in the world at the weight class, and like he is astonishingly good. And it was funny because Roberto Jimenez headlined the prelims for the card, and I went like, that's a strange place to put a guy like Jimenez. And again, gets it done in 1 minute and 10 seconds. Dude, Jimenez is there's not a whole lot to say. Like he's so
the kid
good.
Is sick.
It's why he's on every other card and every other Third Coast card, and like it's why he has these top billing on these events because he's so good. You know,
he's not even like a grown ass man yet. He's still got time. And he's only going to get, like, probably bigger and stronger and better and scarier.
Yeah, Josh. That's why you're cutting to 77 for ADCC trials.
You could say, somebody could call me right now and say, we need you to compete against Roberto Jimenez. And I go, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have any, like, fantasy about me winning. Like, he's probably going to beat the shit out of me. But I'm going to go out there and have fun and try not to get the shit kicked out of me.
As we always try to do, Josh. Yeah, really good match. I hope we see Roberto on more. I hope we see him on the main card next time on SUG. Phenomenal athlete, great style for SUG. He's always trying to finish. Like, he's the kind of guy that I want on a card like this with these
That
rules.
fight to win and anything that has like a submission only kind of rule set.
Yeah, he honestly even a points rule set, he's still trying to finish you. So I'm not that upset about it. Next match I want to talk about was Jordan Holy versus Andrew Alexander.
Another match where Chael had no idea who was competing.
He called Jordan Holy Jordan Holly, which again people do before, and I've talked to him before, and Jordan says, yeah, it doesn't really care like if you call him Holy or Holly.
Dude, 1L versus 2Ls. There's a difference.
Yeah, dude, Holy. I'm doing it now. Jordan
Holy,
finished,
you said it right.
Yeah, Jordan finished a really nifty like Estima lock, like super high chest Estima lock, almost like a reverse toe hold grip, kind of.
I couldn't see exactly the grip, but it just looked like. Do you remember Alex that used to come into open mat, the black belt from GF team?
Yeah,
the heavyweight.
Yeah, heavyweight.
Yeah, he does that style of footlock where he shoots it the other way and locks it. And I have a pretty good tolerance for like footlocks. I'll sit in them for a while. And he put that thing in. I thought my leg was going to explode. And that looked like that's what Holly was doing. Holy, see, thanks, Chael.
I like this toe hold a lot. It's a variation of a steam lock, and because I'm so short, like a lot of times guys will put their feet into my chest as opposed to into my stomach. Because they're just going to push off me, and you can catch it super high, and then the leverage point is really funny. It almost feels like one of those free space arm locks where all of a sudden you're pulling against the free space versus like a traditional steam lock, you kind of like gut into it and come down. This, you're like lifting up, almost like a toe hold, but you're blocking. It's a super nifty toe hold that you don't see a lot, so it's super cool to see Jordan hit it here. Again, watch it. Chael talked about it, kind of broke it down a little bit. Dude, Holy gets done in 48 seconds.
He thought Alexander was going to get the heel. He's like, oh, he's going to get the heel hook. And I was like, yeah, I don't think so there, buddy.
Heel hooking Jordan Holy. He is a leg lock guy. And then Chael was talking about he's going to throw Jordan into the 8-man for 10 grand for who's going to fight Craig Jones. And I talked to Jordan, and he was like, yeah, does Chael know that I'm like 145, like 155? He's like, I'll do it. He goes, but I'm going to be a bit smaller than those guys.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Jordan's my size.
Yeah,
but again, I'll watch it, dude. He's got the leg locks, like he can contend. That'll be fun to watch. What's the next match we want to talk about? Talk about Jake Shields versus Brett Primus.
I mean, what's there really to talk about? They pushed each other for a long time. And then Brett, Jake Shields pulled guard, and Brett tried to knee cut the entire time until overtime.
Pretty much.
And then Jake in overtime held his back for the entire time frame, and then he tried to escape and got armbarred.
Pretty much. Yep.
Like, as much as like I enjoy watching Shields grapple, like if he doesn't get into his preferred position, it just becomes like a really boring match.
Yeah. I mean, Shields is one of those guys, but partially why he's always been so good is that he is not a guy that's ever going to take anything but exactly what he wants.
Yeah.
And it's really like whenever you watch Shields grapple, it's like the matches you see him like where he's like pushing and moving and doing, it's like he is in where he wants to work from and he's working, but he will not accept a position that's not the one he wants, which is kind of leads to matches like this where, you know, both guys can never really get going. I was impressed with Primus's like top passing here and the way he was trying to use the Darce to pass. He was never able to get it done. If you want to see a guy who's super good at that, watch both the Ruotolo brothers. They do this Darce passing a ton. I was like, oh yeah, I've seen this before. But they're also super gangly. We're gonna talk about both them on the preview.
Yeah,
they have long-limbed kids. And so it was kind of reminding me of that, like, oh yeah, he's using this Darce pass. But Shields is veteran enough to get off, get to his side, and get away. That was the match. What else you want to go through, Josh? Want to go through the results now?
Sure, go for it.
Gabriel Checo defeats Austin Vanderfort via submission, rear naked choke in overtime. We had Joseph McKay defeating Gustavo Bessa by submission. It was a lapel choke. I did like that SUG was doing gi matches.
Gi match?
They did the gi match. I liked it. I also like that Chael was talking about Like, Chael openly talked about, like, not knowing the gi and not understanding the grips as well. I did like that. I like when Chael levels with us for what he knows and what he doesn't know.
If you're going against a guy named Gustavo in jiu-jitsu, you know he must know a thing or two. I was like, that's the dumbest comment I've heard in a while. Well, no, I'll take that back. I've heard some other and read some other dumb comments recently, so
Yeah.
never mind. But it was kind of high up there.
Yep. Brian Nero defeats Ryan Healy via submission, armbar, and overtime. We had Nicholas Maximov defeating Adam Forget via submission, guillotine choke, and regulation. Tobias Baker defeating Charlie Gilpin via armbar and overtime, and Caleb Stecker defeating Alex Corrales via escape. Went to full time and overtime. Dude, I like SUG. 2-hour card. Chael was a one-man commentator for 2 hours. That is one of the hardest things to do in broadcasting.
For a little bit, because it wasn't really like penetrating my brain, I was like, can we not focus on Chael so much after the matches? And then literally today, I go, they're cleaning the mats in between, and he has to fill space. And I was like, God, can we get somebody else in another random grain silo that can talk to Chael? Because Chael by himself, like, he just pulls shit out of his ass constantly, and it's kind of obnoxious. Like, I could watch the Submission Underground cards where it's just him on mute, and it would be just as good. Like, he did. Yes, it's hard to do that job by yourself, but he doesn't really add anything to the matches. It's just him, like, having a conversation with himself.
Yeah, he kind of talks. He kind of like talks to the audience. Like, he's kind of like He's kind of like less of a commentator and more like talking about the matches with us. And it's a style of like talk of like match that I'm not used to watching, and so it's kind of weird to me.
He's doing live observation.
Yeah.
On a microphone.
Yeah.
Like, if you compare that to,
it's like he's doing a fight companion almost.
Sort of. If you compare that to like what Highwell Teague and William Tackett were doing on Fight to Win, like, it's such a stark contrast. And Tackett especially.
I think he's done commentary a couple times now for them.
He has, and he is amazing on the microphone. Like, amazing. The way he just breaks things down and starts talking about him, and is like, but he also doesn't take away from what you're watching. He's just adding to it.
He's giving you information, doing the predictive commentary thing we like so much. He's talking about, he's going to look for here. Oh, I know this guy. He tends to do X, Y, and Z. This is his style of passing. This is where you got to watch out. It's like, yeah. And both him and Highwell this weekend were super great. So that was Submission Underground. Let's move on to Fight to Win 142. This one had this is another banger card. 76.4% submission rate. 13 of the 17 matches ended in submission. This one was headlined by Gabi Garcia versus Kendall Riesling. What match do you want to start with, Josh?
Reusing.
What's your last name?
Not Riesling. It's either reusing or reusing, but it's not Riesling. Reusing.
All right. Well, I'm not a good speller, so that's why I wrote her name incorrectly in my notes. And the giant article I wrote, her name is spelled correctly, but I just can't read. So, my bad. Sorry about that. Let's call her Kendall then. Let's go with that.
What a stark size difference. Like, Kendall is also a heavyweight.
They're in the same weight class, technically.
Dude, Gabi is just so big. I'm going to put it out here now. Seth, get Gabi like a 180-pound dude and just have them go at it. And I think that would be a super exciting match. The first intergender match in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Dude, Gabi, I mean, I pulled out the article we did on the website. I went through an ADCC and I pulled out the old Gabi Garcia interviews we did at ADCC, and I pulled out some screenshots, and I realized Garcia is 6'3", I think, or 6'4".
Yes. She is a legit Amazon.
Women's heavyweight.
No, she's just like a legit big person. You have to realize, if she's 6'3", she's the same size as our coach.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah.
Like, she is a large, and this isn't like anything bad against her. She is legitimately just a large human being, like extremely large for a woman. You don't see a lot of women that are like frequently that are that big, and she's in much better shape than like when I first remember her coming on the scene. Like she's
Oh yeah,
cut up.
there's those pictures of her, that kind of famously with Vanderlei on Tough.
She was yoked
Yeah,
during that. She looked like she was just filled with juice and like 300 pounds of muscle and was ready to eat Vanderlei. Like, oh, she was huge. But now she's like trimmed down and she's just. But
there's about 7 minutes here that was on the feet, pushing back and forth. And then at one point, about 7 minutes in, Garcia just sort of barrels Kendall over, ends up in top half. There's a reset, and then Garcia just uses her size, gets the top, crawls to the top, works for like a topside Americana, and there's not a whole lot that Kendall's able to do from the bottom there because Garcia, again, this is where Garcia operates from, top of half guard. She's going to pass if she has to.
That's the other thing. Her Americana and the straight armbar from right there are like her go-to moves.
Yeah.
You can't, when she gets that, that's what she has. And there's no way you are really going to get out of that if you were in her
what she
division.
won the ADCC with this last year?
Probably.
This is the quarter. I thought she submitted Karina Santi with that in the finals. I thought it was Americana.
I can't remember.
I could be incorrect about that, but hey, this is Gabi's wheelhouse. This is what she does.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the other thing. And Tackett brought it up a lot during the match that Kendall should not have been coming in and like tying up with her wrestling. Like she should have been taking more outside shots or like a sweep single or an arm drag, but she just kept tying up.
Well, you looked at I watched a bunch of Kendall's wrestling matches before to this, and a lot of what she'll do is, and her even watch some of her 2017 ADCC trials matches. A lot of what she'll do is she'll counter off the body lock with the Harigoshi, and I'm not sure if that's
you're not going to do that against Gabi.
And I think that maybe what happened is like she realized like, okay, I'm not going to be able to kind of do this counter, and then so she was stuck looking for maybe I can snap her down in a tie, maybe I can be the faster person to get around.
It looked like she was at least 6 inches shorter than her. You're not going to snap down off of like the tie. The better thing, what she probably should have done was like jump up a little bit and try to go for that headlock position, trying to get like the guillotine, or like grab the back of the tricep and try to just like when Gabi was hunching over really hard and just like smacking her down. But she wasn't doing any of that, and she just was letting like Gabi dictate where they were going.
They also switched refs, I think 6 or 7 minutes in.
I was about to say that it was like the halfway point when Gabi barreled Kendall out of the ring, and Seth was like, let me take care of this. And they were talking about it on commentary how Seth knows how to control the ring.
Yeah.
And he absolutely does. He's like, nope. And you heard him circle, 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 and was just pushing him back towards the center. And
that's why I like Seth reffing, because he doesn't affect the match, but he'll push competitors back into the center, and he keeps the action going. And I think for a match like this, it was a really good switch. And I appreciate that Seth will, like, on the fly like that, make the switch. Like, hey, I have the skill set here to keep this match in as a referee. Boom, I'm going to go and fix the problem. And, like,
I'm a big fucking dude. He's like, I'm going to push people around while I'm chewing gum.
Yes, as always. So, yeah, that's that match. Gabi, how was that? Oh, man, was that a title match?
Yeah, she became the heavyweight no-gi champion.
Okay, that's what I thought. I think I thought she had that prior, or I thought she had a different bout. She may have the gi bout.
Did she go against?
She lost to Flowers, I thought.
Not Flowers. Natalie DeJesus. She lost the gi.
Yes.
In the gi though, so she got a championship in no-gi. So there you go.
All right, so let's move on to the next match. Has you got anything else on that match, Josh?
Nope.
All right, let's move on to Johnny Tama versus Dante Leon. I was hype about this match. I love super fights because, dude, you took the no-gi world champion at lightweight versus the no-gi world champion at featherweight. Wait.
Middleweight,
Middleweight.
and lightweight.
Middleweight and lightweight. Yep, that's what it was. And I love these super fights like that. You put both guys together, they're never gonna meet at an IBJJF, and so on a super fight, you can go look, best both guys at no-gi in IBJJF. Let's do it.
Dante's like everything that he was doing was just like so money, pressuring, like knee cutting, coming through, getting past, like it was just money. And like the setup to the end with the triangle was just
such a beautiful transition.
So great, like just transitioning over and not fully having it, and you're like, is he gonna finish this? And like
the triangle was pretty loose, like not loose
to
but
begin
like,
with, but it was open. Like you could drive a truck through that opening, but he just kept readjusting, and finally like locked in that foot and pulled it down, and it was just so tight. And when Tama tapped, like Dante let go, and Tama just goes, woo, after he got let out, because I mean you could see the squeeze already, even with all that space, was tight.
Also, it was quick into the match too. Wasn't that long?
Yeah,
so not that sweaty.
Like a 2-minute match. Like in general, I think it was about 2.5 minutes or so. But just like everything that was going on, Dante just is like he's firing on all cylinders right now. He's looking great. I know Flo put up an article or put up a little video of him afterwards saying he wants, he wants to keep going, wants better and better competition going through. Not saying
when I
interviewed
him at Kasai after he beat Canuto in their rematch at Kasai, he was like, "Look, I'll move up to 88, like 85, like wherever we want to get the matches that like I want big matches. I want to face like the best guys, and so I'll move weight to do that." We've seen him fight at heavyweight. We did King of Matt at heavyweight. Like it's all he's on open weight.
Good.
Like I'm a huge fan of. Again, I'm a huge fan of Tama too. But man, Leon is just on something recently, and it's been awesome to watch because he has a style, I think, especially at the Grappling Rewind, that we really like because he gives us a lot to talk about. Like his transitions are good, his passing is good, his submission game is really good.
He's always hunting for the submission, but he doesn't let that get in the way of him getting a better position on you either. Like he takes those brief moments of like hesitation and he uses them to his advantage. He takes advantage of those tiny like milliseconds that you leave for a reaction to do something and just eats it up. He's like a time consumer. He eats up all that extra time that you give him like in your movement and just attacks off of it. He's very, 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 very good at like split second decision making. And it probably helps that he's also super fucking strong.
Yeah, he's a strong dude.
And that doesn't take away from the technique and like the beauty of his jiu-jitsu.
Whenever we talk about a strong guy in the show, it's never like in the gym, oh, you're strong. It's like he's strong. Like he takes it seriously, and then he has the ability to finish in those positions where you would need more strength to do that. It's not like a technical.
He also
follow.
strikes me as the guy that if you had a full-blown armbar on him in a match for like fight to win, that he would just lift you up and drop you on your head.
He slammed from the guard immediately. Like Tama pulled, and he went boom and tried to pass off of that.
It just seems like he would be able to just straight up lift you up and just whack you on the ground.
Yeah, there's some videos of him deadlifting. Again, I have no idea what we're gonna see from Leon this next year. Like he just keeps getting better and better, and this shows. I mean, you submitted the no-gi world champion at the weight class below you, like in 2 minutes. And again, Tama is no slouch. Look at, we remember covering the finals match. That was one of the most memorable matches in no-gi worlds this last year. Was Tama's finals match. It was like, man, they were going, and to have Leon just implement a game plan like this, pass, almost take the back, in the transition, get to the triangle, lock, control it, get to the shoulder, finish, kind of go for the armbar a little bit, lock in the triangle more. Like, he's on something else, and it has been awesome to watch him the past couple years.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
All right, let's move on to the next match. Lucas Valente versus Mateus Gabriela. Again, another really cool match. You had the second place silver medalist Lucas Valente in the weight class above versus the gold medalist Mateus Gabriela, weight class below. This last year in IBJJF, but in the gi. So fun. It was a super interesting matchup. Most of this match was in double-seated open guard for pretty much the entirety of the match.
Yeah, you had like Valente hit the ground immediately and not let Gabriel start any attacks from the bottom. And, he was attacking the feet a lot throughout the match, but so was Gabriel. But Gabriel was, because he couldn't get past, although he was very close in doing it multiple times, um, he was just diving underneath of him, trying to like crab ride him to the back, trying to get all these positions. And it was just very back and forth. I'm not mad at the decision, but I could honestly see, again, it's a split decision. So,
Yeah.
like, I could see it going both ways.
I watched this match twice, and the first time I saw it, I was like, I'm not sure. The second time I saw it, I was like, that makes sense. It is one of those matches where you can't be, I'm at least as a viewer, and it's kind of like what we do is analysis here. We try to. I can't be too mad at that decision because it's like it was a very, very even match. At one point, Lucas sort of almost gets to the back. At one point, Gabriel's working to take the back a couple times. There's like, it's a very even match. And again, it is what you get sometimes when you get two world champion class level guys. Like you get a really even match, and they're both playing to their strengths.
Stop moving your hands, Maine. You keep hitting the mic.
My bad, Josh. I'll fix it in post.
But yeah, like they were going back and forth, and I can't be mad. Like I can understand why Gabriel thinks that he won the match. There were again, like honestly, like neither of them were going to tap to any foot lock. So you just got to make the face when you're trying to get the foot lock, so it makes it seem like you're doing something. But I'd love to see him run it back again, and see how that goes. Maybe Gabriel hits the ground sooner. I think Mateus was very like in the mindset of IBJJF because Lucas pulled immediately without touching him, and he like backed off and was like, "Hey, he didn't touch me," and it's like, no, that's not how it works here.
Right.
So,
if you didn't know, in IBJ, I always forget we kind of need to clarify these same things sometimes. In IBJJF, in order to pull guard, you have to have contact and maintain contact with the guard pull. In fight to win, you can just sit. There's no requirement for contact to be made if you're going to pull guard or sit guard. And so both these guys are super high level IBJJF guys. You saw Lucas Valente just like sat, and Mateus went, "Huh? Oh right, fight to win," and then kept going. So that was that match. Let's move on to, you want to go with Pedro Marinho or William Tackett? What you want? Both of which are fucking fire matches.
Let's go with Tackett first.
Dude, Tackett, 1 week after winning the middleweight brown belt title, is back at it again, taking on Justin Rennick, and dude, looked good. Rennick pulls, and then Tackett's immediately into his passing game, like goes for the slam.
He was throwing the legs around a lot, like just going in. And what I thought was super interesting about that is when Tackett was coming in, he was using his head as like a staple and a post at the same time, where he was like, I'm going to use this as a position, but now I'm going to use it to hold this like limb here, or keep your head here, to where he could start to move. And using that allowed the pass to happen. And to Rennick's credit, like he had a pretty flexible guard and would escape, but finally Tackett got through. And again, this is where you see he uses his head and like staples it, almost nabs the head and arm choke, and then just starts like progressing up and around, and eventually gets like the reverse mounted triangle.
He locks it up initially reversed because he does that like nice high step over, and he almost goes to like the triangle, but it's the TP triangle when you're in mount, because you don't have the angle across at all. You just have one leg stepped over completely, and then you step behind it with the other leg, where it's like you're technically in a triangle because one arm's in, one arm's out, but there's so much space on the other side. And then once he flips to his back, then he finishes and he makes the lock, and he goes, he makes the angle he needs to make. But this is actually how I prefer to step the mounted triangle, because it doesn't hurt my knees as much. And it's funny, I think a couple weeks ago, Najmi talked about not setting up the mounted triangle completely from mount because it's not as hard on his knees. And so it's really interesting to see both Tackett and Najmi do this. And it's like, oh, yeah, he gets the position and he doesn't need to like yank on his knees while all that's weight's on it. He flips to his back and then he, makes the final adjustments he needs, gets there, locks it in. And then he finished with kind of looked like the shoulder lock variation of that.
Yeah. I was like, did he finish with the triangle or the arm? And they called it by that. But, I'm not mad at how he finished it. And the dude's just competing regularly. He's trying to,
And then doing commentary.
Yes. He, everything he did was like very sound. And again, like moving through the steps to get to where he needed to be, but always having like the finish on his mind.
Yeah, again, that's one of the reasons why we're a big fan of Tackett's style. Is like much like Leon, he is like he is position oriented first, but at any opportunity he is going to be looking to submit you. And so it's like I'm a huge fan of those guys' style because it's like, yeah, I'll take the foot lock. If you want to play feet, I'll play that. But if the opportunity comes to get up and pass, I'm gonna do that too. And it's again, I love those guys that have a dynamism of style that aren't just a leg locker, just a back take guy, just a guard passer. He's like, they can do it all, and he's just getting better and better at brown belt. Looked really good. I bet we're going to see him in the next 2 or 3 weeks on something. I think he's in one of the third. I know he's in one of the Third Coast brackets. Oh, sorry, we're going to preview him on the Third Coast bracket this week. I assume because Fight to Win's in Dallas and he's an Austin guy, I assume we're going to see him keep defending the title relatively frequently. Because
they're gonna have to find people, honestly.
Yeah.
Because
the other question is, how big is Marinho? Oh, they're fighting tomorrow. They're fighting this next weekend on Third Coast. I was like, Marinho won his match too. We're running out of brown belts for William to take on, and he's been a brown belt for what, 6 or 7 months at most, I think.
Not too terribly long.
I think Steele got black belt. Cody Steele got black belt right around when he got promoted to brown. I forget who got first. But, I have a feeling we're not going to see him at brown for too long. I'm curious to see what he looks like at trials because the last time we interviewed William, that's what he was talking about, aiming for ADCC, aiming for the trials. I mean, he was a weighed-in alternate for 2019, so, he's on the level. He's shooting for that. Next match, Pedro Marinho versus Michael Salazar. Pedro Marinho wants your neck, and he wants it bad.
Dude, he lifted up Salazar by the neck with that guillotine and he kept neck cranking him. And oh God, everything just looked terrible. It looked so uncomfortable. And then and the gift wrap, I was like, ooh, he's going to gift wrap him to his back. Yeah. And then he lost it briefly, gets it, and then's like, nah, I'm going to punch you in the neck while I do it. And he gift wrap choked him, and they were like, we're going to call it the Marinho choke. And I was like, whatever you want to call it, he just choked him with a gift wrap.
That choke hurts so bad.
That's the shit that you do to a spazzy white belt that comes into the gym. You gift wrap them, and they're flanneling around. They poke you in the eye, and you're like, oh. And you just do the meatheadiest of things, and you just punch your hand into it's like, here. And he just
feel personally attacked as I've done that, not infrequently. It's like, I gotta control.
I'm pretty sure I've done that to you because you were kind of spazzing out.
Yeah, Josh, because you were fat as shit, and we were fighting.
And you were a newer blue belt.
I think you did this to me in MMA. We had MMA gloves on the one time too.
Oh yeah, you got so mad about that too.
I was upset. I was having a bad day, Josh. And you body triangled me from the back, and you kept punching me in the face, and you wouldn't take the choke, and then you just were punching me in the face, and I couldn't get out, and you were squeezing me, and it was 10 o'clock in the morning. It's having a rough day, Josh. But again,
I wasn't that fat at that point. I was on the lighter side of things. But yeah, I was hitting you, and you were just going around, and every time I moved my arm, you would try to defend. So I was like, fuck this. I'm just gonna hold you and pummel your face and then squeeze your head.
Yeah.
Because I'm still I'm still gonna pretend to be a big guy even when I'm not a big guy.
Yeah. So again, really great technique. You don't see it hit a lot. Marino's got great control. He's got a great squeeze, as evident that he lifted Salazar up by his neck a couple times. Once completely off the mat, almost like a north-south position with the guillotine. Dude, Marinho, you want to see a guy hunt the guillotine, look at Pedro Marinho, look at Josh Hinger, and look at like guys like anyone off Marcelo's, like Marcelo. Like those three guys are the guys that I go to like watch technique for guillotines and like how they do it and how they pass with it and how they turn with it.
Who's the black belt in the gi that goes for guillotines all the time? It just popped into my head and then I forgot his
Brazilian
name.
cat?
Yeah. He's got like a really good guillotine. Is he dude from Atos?
Hinger? Josh Hinger?
No. Brazilian dude though.
Huh. I mean, there's a lot of guys.
Oh, Duarte.
Yeah.
He does that
Yeah.
stuff too, where he just like attacks the neck and yanks you up. I was like, I know it's
Yeah,
somebody.
Kane and Duarte.
Yeah, he's got a sick one too. So
Fun to watch. Again, I expect great things from Pedro. I assume we're going to see him fight Tackett at some point after next week as well. Like, just because both guys are in the Texas scene, on the rise, and, like, if you live that close to another world beater around the same weight, like, you're going to fight out a bunch of times. So, want to go through the rest of the results or any other matches you want to talk about on the card?
let's bang through the results really quick.
Black
Going
belt
back up
results.
to Gabi Garcia defeated Kendall Reusing by Americana.
To become the height-to-win heavyweight no-gi champion.
Don't sleep on me because I will take him from you.
It's so... the lag is killing me.
I'm looking at you.
I got you, Josh. Keep going.
At you. Lucas Valente defeated Mateus Gabriela via split decision.
And that was fight of the night for the black belts.
Dante Leon defeated Johnny Tama via triangle. Justin Rice defeated Clay Hance via ankle lock. Lucas Lima defeated Willis Nunez via ankle lock.
And that was submission of the night for the black belts. That was like a really quick like ankle lock. He like turned he turned it over really, really quick. And like I wish there was kind of a different angle to see exactly like where he had turned it, but super quick finish.
Yes. Ignacio Neto defeated Jean Panqueca via armbar, and Vinicius Garcia defeated Henrique Nobrega via choke.
Under the brown belt results.
Samuel Nagai defeated Carlos Neto via ankle lock.
And becomes the fight to win brown belt lightweight champion.
William Tackett defeated Justin Rennick via triangle.
To retain the fight to win middleweight no-gi title that he won last week.
Jorge Castaneda defeated Jairo Bautista via decision. Pedro Marinho defeated Michael Salazar via gift wrap choke.
Yeah, mean thing. That was submission of the night for the brown belts.
Colton Rolfe defeated Aaron Culpepper via straight ankle lock.
And that was fight of the night for the brown belts.
Leandro Nascimento defeated Tony Fitzgerald via decision.
Under the purple belt results.
Michael Gonzalez defeated John Paul Robledo via Kimura.
And that was fight of the night for the purple belts.
Carlos Neto defeated Josh Mosquia via armbar.
And that was submission of the night for the purple belts. On to the kids and teens results.
Michael Brennan defeated Michael Ortega via decision, and Hope Russell defeated Michelle Treelong via rear naked face choke.
Love rear naked face choke. So that does it for Fight to Win 142. Again, 76.4% submission rate. Fight to Win getting it done. They return this next week with Who is Number One. You want to move into that preview? Want to move into the preview for Third Coast, Josh? What you want?
Let's go to Who is Number One.
So the Who's Number One card is headlined by... Oh, there it is. Headlined by Gordon Ryan taking on Kyle Bame. I have written about... it's getting longer. It's going to be posted. By the time this show airs, it'll be on the grapplingrewind.com/blogs. An article on the top 3 matchups on this card. Basically talking about some of the history behind Gordon Ryan and Kyle Bame. They have gone back and forth multiple times over the years. This matchup was supposed to be made, I think, 2 or 3 times at this point. And we're finally seeing it. And there's been a lot of talk, like online, about what Kyle's pathway to victory is here versus Gordon. And Josh and I talked a little on the pre-show, and it's a steep one. Kyle has I think in black belt in 2019 and 2020. Kyle has 4 wins by outside heel hook, and he has 2 wins by rear naked choke. This is a submission only, no time limit match. So you got to sub Gordon.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Only one guy ever has submitted Gordon, and that was Felipe Pena, and that was in 2016. But it was also at a no time limit sub-only match.
And that was choking him from the back, which I don't see Bame doing.
Yeah, I don't see. We've seen Bame punch up hard. I just don't see him being able to like sweep Gordon over, get to the top position, maintain the top position, and then get to the back. I think if Bame's going to win, it's going to be either by a flash, like outside heel hook, kind of what he hit with Gabriel Arges, where it's kind of a weird position happens. There's like maybe some funniness, and then Kyle keeps going and gets the sub. But I feel like Gordon will kind of be like Gordon when he competes is very, very focused. Like he's never doing anything else. He's very, very focused. So I don't know if we'll see that. I see this match going very similar to the Tex Johnson match for Gordon Ryan, just because Kyle and Tex have a very similar style. They're going to sit. They're going to look to go underneath you. They're going to look to get to the heel hook. But we saw Gordon kind of use and showcase his passing in that match and get around. I feel like he's going to do the same thing for Kyle. Kyle's going to go for a leg. Gordon typically doesn't. If you're a leg locker, Gordon typically doesn't get into leg lock battles with people. So I feel like
he'll normally try to float on top of you and just like get to side control and immediately like start to force you to turn and hit the choke in transition, because you see a lot like Gordon doesn't settle on the back and then get the rear naked choke. He normally catches it in transition and just squeezes from there.
Right. That's kind of what I think this is going to go. Again, the no time limit format, I think, really favors Gordon here, because he just will have time to work to get to whatever position he is looking for. And I feel like his passing has just gotten better and better and better. And with Kyle going to pull here, I just feel like that's how it's going to go. But again, we've seen Kyle punch up with subs before.
I don't see Gordon taking his time with the match. Like, with the amount of trash talk he's had towards Kyle, it only makes him look worse if Kyle keeps hanging in there for longer and longer and longer.
Yeah, I think it kind of what happened with the Pat Downey match. He kind of like drug Downey into deep water for a long period of time. Again, he was trying to make him tired for a second match later, and then Downey teched him in like 20 seconds. It kind of was like, it wasn't as good of a look for him, I think, what he was going for. So I feel like he's probably not going to do that again, looking to drag Kyle into deep water, and that he's going to look to kind of put a stamp on it and try to submit him quick. But again, if he gets, overcommitted, Kyle is a guy that can capitalize on something like that. It's definitely Gordon's match to lose here.
Yeah,
in a big way. Co-main event, fire match. Nicky Ryan versus Kade Ruotolo, 170-pound no-gi bout. This has got to be for like one of the number one slots in no-gi at brown belt. Because again, who's number one is a ranking event, basically. So they're looking to move guys in the rankings to determine like who is number one. I've talked about the flow rankings a ton. I'm a huge fan of kind of providing a league format and a ranking system to give some storyline to these matches as to like why they are important. Hey, we're trying to figure out who the best guy is. Ty and Nicky are both two of the best dudes. They're both young too. At brown belt. And I think Ty is still a purple belt. Just got his purple belt. He's
still in juvenile.
He's a juvenile purple belt, which is like the weirdest thing ever because there's only monsters there. Like you're in the division of monsters. When did they add juvenile purple belt? They didn't add that many years ago. It's a relatively
couple of years ago
new division. I think Michael Galval's juvenile purple belt. I think the Ruotolos are. There's very few purple belts on the show that we cover regularly. But the Ruotolos are those guys, like Tackett's and Ruotolos, like those are the guys, those are the level of the guys we're covering at purple on the show. How do you think this goes, Josh? I think Nicky's going to pull, and I think we're going to see Ty try to implement a lot of what he did at Grapple Fest and use a lot of that leg pinning, going back to, side to side.
I don't even honestly want to predict it, although they were both in the same division at ADCC, and Nicky was out first round and
second round.
Ty made.
I think Nicky beat Shane, didn't he? Nicky beat Shane Jamil Hill Taylor, and then he got Paulo, didn't he?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he got Paulo, and then Ty got Paulo after Nicky.
Yeah, from the semis.
Yeah.
So it's honestly a toss-up. Like, I could see either guy winning, and I'd be super stoked. And I think, like, they're only separated by, like, a year.
Yeah.
Like, I think Nicky might be 18, and Ty's just turned, like, 17 a little while ago.
I think Nicky is either... I think he just turned 18. Yeah, that's right. But Nicky has a win over Kade at the West Coast Trials back in 2019. And again, but that was when everyone was kind of talking about the Ruotolos, had to develop their leg lock game, and we've seen them do that since then, like being actively working on it. They're still definitely a little fast on the entries. We saw that at Grapple Fest, they would both kind of drop for straight ankle locks and drop for heel hooks, but almost knee barring Paulo Miao shows that you've got a pretty good understanding of the leg lock game. Again, it's a toss up. We don't see Nicky Ryan enough for me to be, and he develops so fast for me to make a stamp on what I think it's going to look like.
And we haven't seen him compete in a while.
I think ADCC was the last time we saw him compete. I think we might have seen him on a Polaris since then, but I think he got an MMA guy for Polaris, but I don't remember. But
idea.
we don't see Nicky. No. We saw Nicky versus Cavalcante at Substars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was I think the last time we saw.
That was like January?
I think, yeah. But again, everything shut down in March. So it's we haven't seen much of a lot of guys until,
It's June now. So that was 5 months ago.
Oh my God, it is June. So he's gotten better since then, obviously. Super fun matchup. Anything else, Josh?
No, let's move on.
160-pound no-gi bout, Ethan Crelinsten versus Kade Ruotolo, the brother of Ty Ruotolo. We just saw Ethan versus Johnny Tama 2 weeks ago on Fight to Win. Really close back and forth match between him and Tama. Tama was able to edge that one out. This is another really fun match. It's at 160 as opposed to the Ryan match was at 170. I think Kade and Ty are finally starting to diverge a little bit in weight as they get older. Ty is definitely the bigger.
Ty is the bigger, musclier one. Hit puberty harder.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm curious. We know what Ethan likes to do. Ethan likes to either pathway to the back for the rear naked choke, or he likes to engage with the legs. I feel like here he's going to engage with the legs of Kade because historically that's where we've seen Kade have a little more problems.
I think having a twin brother and also training with two of the best teams with Atos and the Mendes brothers, really they're punching up against black belts and winning. With both of them, it's very interesting to see how their matches turn out and how they continue to develop as they get older and they get more experienced.
Yeah. Ethan is the only brown belt that has a BJJ Heroes page. So that gives you an idea of the level of Ethan Crelinsten. Literally the only one ever.
I keep thinking that he's a black belt.
Because he is. Because we can play pretend like he's not, but he is. He just hasn't been promoted. I don't know if he's under Faraz or under John Danaher. I don't know who he's under because he represents TriStar, but he represents Henzo's. He represents both of them. He's one of those TriStar IGA guys. He's got to be due.
Eventually.
I mean, he's winning ADCC trials. You're one of the best dudes in the world, the weight class. Technically still a brown, but again, Kade is technically still a purple belt. His brother is technically still a purple belt. It's a really interesting match. Again, I think we'll probably see Crelinsten pull here, and I think we'll probably see Kade doing the leg pin passing and doing a lot of that Darce passing that we talked about earlier in the show. I feel like we'll see those big jumping pass attempts, just given how kind of Ethan tends to sit up really nice and straight and tall, and the way that he goes under for the legs. I feel like Kade is long enough to sort of wrapping him up and trying to pass with the Darce. I'm curious to see if that'll allow Ethan to enter into the legs or exactly what's going to happen. Again, it's a tough match to pick, but it's a really good match. Next match, we have 180-pound black belt no-gi bout. Cody Steele versus Alec Balding. Alec Balding is the 2019 East Coast Trials winner for ADCC. think it was East Coast trials at 66.
No way.
77?
That's 77.
Oh yeah, 77. Maybe my bad. I always have Balding as a smaller guy, and he's not. He's bigger dude.
He looks frame wise almost exactly like DJ Jackson.
Yes, that's always what I think of. But didn't Jackson make 66?
77.
Okay. Man,
yeah, no way. Not either of them are gonna. Like they would both have to lose like a limb to make 66.
Yeah. Because I just remember that Jackson got pulled down to the weight class like one below what I thought he would be at. And I was like, how is he going to make that? And so always in my head at 66, but no, because Jackson was at 88 and then dropped all the way down to make 77. I remember we saw him at Fight to Win in Maryland. Like, he had cut a bunch. We had slimmed way down to get that last, because he was rumored to be getting the last invite slot at 77. So, again, this is a really fun match. We've seen a lot from Cody Steele recently. Alec Balding we've covered him a couple times on the show since ADCC, but not frequently. I'm more familiar with Steele's game. I covered him live at Kasai in Dallas back in January, I think, December or January. Got an interview with him down there. I've talked to Alec a little bit, but not a ton.
He's a fire hydrant of a man.
Yes.
He's great at pressure passing. He's great at
his passing is
moving
very,
through.
very good.
As far as I'm aware, he is an Alliance black belt under Jacare. So
I think we'll see a lot on the feet here. We've seen a lot of Cody's wrestling, and I think Alec is a guy that, again, tends to wrestle. So I feel like this is going to be contested largely on the feet, and it'll be both guys working to secure the takedown that they want to, and then sort of, who can implement their passing game or Cody could enter into the legs or try a pathway to the back.
Yeah.
Really nice matchup. We have a 150-pound no-gi bout, Elizabeth Clay versus Chelsea Lyons. Both still brown belts, I think.
I have no idea.
I don't think Elizabeth has gotten to black. We've covered Elizabeth before on the trials and at No-Gi Worlds, and I even think at Gi Worlds. We've covered her before. Super exciting matchup. 200-pound black belt no-gi bout. Hunter Colvin versus Andre Gomez. We've covered Hunter a ton on the show on, what was the big event Hunter won? Was it Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds? Or was it we've covered him prior to that as well. Brothers 8-man. We've covered him on Fight to Win. I think he might have actually held a title at Fight to Win before. Super, super aggressive grappler. A lot of fun to watch. 170-pound black belt no-gi match. Chris Orozco versus Diego Santana do Espirito Santo. We have a 190-pound black belt no-gi match. Cameron Couch versus Zaya Wright. Seen Cameron. We actually trained at his gym, Emil and I, down in Dallas at Moyer MMA. That was where some of the guys were getting some work in down there. He had a match with Cody Steele on that card, and that's where we were super impressed with how tough the dude was. I think he had a really great match at the previous Kasai, one of the Super Series is down there in Texas. We've covered him on Fight to Win as well. Again, super familiar with him, looking to move up in the rankings. We have a 215-pound brown belt no-gi match, Kyle Short versus Kevin McCormick. 160-pound brown belt gi match, Stephanie Kopaz versus Jordan Patrick. We have a 190-pound brown belt no-gi match, Austin Morris versus Wally Thompson. And there's even more matches all been on the card. Again, who's number one is always a crazy good matched card, and it's a ton of fun. I love the events. I love that Full Grappling is actively prioritizing ranking people and basically creating a league system, kind of like what Fight to Win has, but on the back end, that's published for rankings for this is who's going to fight who, and this is who should fight who, this is who the number one guy is. A huge fan of these events happening on June 5th. Josh, you want to move into Third Coast Grappling?
Absolutely.
All right, let's move on to Third Coast Grappling, the Kumite 1. I'm excited for this one, Josh. I've been looking at this since the bracket got announced, and I wrote the first article talking about the brown belts in the first round. We got William Tackett versus Pedro Marinho in the first round. That's going to be great. It's going to be crazy. We have Robtero Jimenez versus Manuel Ribimar in the first round.
That's going to be a barn burner of a match. That one is going to be pure hot fire. Those two are going to go after each other, and it is going to be amazing.
Yeah. We got Gabriel Arges versus Jake Watson, other side of the bracket, first round.
Arges.
Yeah.
Are you looking at the right one, or am I looking at the wrong one?
No, Valente pulled out.
Oh, okay. So Arges is filling in for
Lucas
Valente.
Valente, correct. Yeah.
Versus Jake Watson. Okay.
Yeah, I think Valente. I forget exactly why he pulled out, but I think he was on like the way smaller side of the guys in the bracket. So yeah, Arges is filling in now, taking on Jake Watson. Gustavo Batista versus Jamie Canuto.
Dude, how is Batista making under 180? Like, he's big.
He's a big dude. Oh my God, it is under 180. You're right. Actually, how is Watson making under 180?
How are several of them making
Jimenez
under
is
180?
like, even Marinho's big.
So is Ribimar.
Yeah, this is crazy. I realize that most of these guys are like on that like cusp of like you're gonna have to work your ass off to make 180.
Yeah.
That's good.
Either way, like, I can't even like predict the how it goes. Like, I can't even make picks. Like, Batista versus Canuto is going to be a flame match. You got Arges versus Watson. That's going to be a flame match. Marinho versus Tackett, which we were already talking about, hopefully seeing on Fight to Win. Well, now we're about to see it, this weekend.
Third coast.
And then Jimenez and Ribimar, which again should be like fireworks.
Yeah, I think this is again looking at it by the numbers. I think this is Batista's the front runner here. Like, 2018 world champion, he's definitely on the bigger side of the guys in the bracket. He has wins over Leandro. He has wins over Arges.
Both he and Ribimar are both like.
I mean, Canuto has a win over Ribimar. Ribimar has a win over Watson.
It's hard to predict. Like, I can't. Like, I can't. I don't want to. I just want to see awesome matches.
Yeah. Also on the show again, I'm super excited for this bracket. Again, this is I hate, but I also really love on the show when we're like, oh no, I really can't make a pick, because like that's good. It speaks to me to good matchmaking. Yes. It's like everyone in this bracket has a pathway to victory. Yeah, I think Batista's definitely by the numbers, the front runner if you look at like who he's matched up with before. But again, you have Marinho, you have Tackett, you have Jimenez, like guys that we have not seen versus a lot of these black belts. So it's like there's an X factor, like how do their styles match up? It's the Third Coast grappling rule set where it's like first to 11 and then the golden score, or by points. It's like
Are they still doing that with the tournament rounds?
I think so. I should talk to Ryan at Third Coast to make sure about that. But yeah, typically they use the Third Coast grappling rule set for most stuff, unless it's one of the hybrid wrestling matches or like a special rules match. For the Kumite, I don't know. But yeah, it speaks to good matchmaking though. It's fun because I can't go, we don't have to like sell it on the show where it's like, these are the pathways to victory. It's like, well, there's a bunch of guys in this bracket that could upset, like anyone in this bracket could upset anyone else in this bracket.
Yes.
And that's good.
Yeah. Do you want to go into the super fights?
Yeah. I for some reason, I feel like we may get Ribimar versus Batista in the finals here.
I mean, that's a safe pick, but
that's the safe
I'm not
pick.
committing. I'm not committing.
All right, Josh. So super fights also on the card. We got Jordan Holy versus Jacob Alpin. We just saw Holy last week at what was it, 48 seconds? Something like that?
Around a minute, yeah.
Around a minute. That's a really fun match. We have Christian Guzman versus Steve Baca and Niall Plebs versus Tevin Sandos. Going to be super fun. I think it's limited entry. I know Texas is starting to open up. I think the tickets are like $75, and then it's like open bar or like open beer.
Well, it's an 18+ event, and your ticket gets you one free beer. I read that on the website.
No, I think it's free beer for the night or something. I thought.
That sounds like a terrible idea.
It sounds like a great idea, Josh. Texas too big.
The crowd's going to be wasted, and somebody's going to end up getting into a fight with somebody else and falling onto the mat.
So I'm looking forward to it. Again, I'm super happy that Third Coast is back. Great bracketing. Tons of fun. What else do we have to preview? That's it.
That's it.
Oh, we did it. Sweet.
Yeah.
What's your week look like, Josh? You got anything fun planned?
A lot of work, a lot of work. Doing stuff, taking pictures,
Yeah, you got a
working
new
out.
camera. I'm super excited to see your new photos. I'm super
I have
excited
stuff.
to get us credentialed to cover additional events and have us actually like go into 2020 with the whole team having like camera equipment that like is good now, and like we have the new website that we can do articles. Like it's cool now that we've done this show long enough, and I've built up, we as a team have built up a repertoire of like footage and interviews, and it's like I can do these articles and we have our own images and footage that we can use to put into the articles now. It's cool. Like,
Oh, you want to hear something? You want to hear something funny? Here,
maybe.
I was at work and I was actually wearing my Grappling Rewind T-shirt, and somebody comes up and goes, "I love that podcast," and I was like, "Really?" And he goes, "What? Those guys are funny," and I was like, "They are not funny," and he goes, "No. It's like that one guy," and he was like, "The loud one," and I was like, "Oh, he's talking about me." And he goes, and Maine. I was like, "Yes, very easy to remember name, Maine." He goes, "Yeah, I didn't know they were selling shirts." And I go, "Yeah, because I'm the loud guy. That's why I have one." And he goes, oh, shit. And I was like, "No, it's all good. I'm glad that you like it." So I forgot to ask his name, but shout out to that dude.
That's hilarious.
So it was funny running into somebody that actually listens to the show, and it was like, "Oh yeah, the loud guy." I am now officially the loud guy. That you can't remember my name. I'm not on enough.
Josh, you've always been the loud guy.
Oh yeah,
Like
been the loud guy since I was like 2.
Oh man, as always. So yeah, again, I'm not doing much this week. I'm like working out. I ran 50 miles in May. Felt super accomplished about that. My back hurts really bad. My leg's not doing great with that. But what else are you gonna do except keep running?
Fly to a country and get stem cells.
I'm looking, dude. I'm looking at getting either additional cortisone shots in the back again, or like, I don't know, man. It's been about 2 years. I'm about done with this back bullshit.
But you're slowly training, and
yeah,
when you did get back to training and you and I trained, I appreciated that I was like the only big guy that you rolled with, because you knew that I knew that you're completely broken, and that I will roll safe enough with you that I won't kill you.
Yes, Josh. And then when I'm healed again, you will definitely do that, and I'm excited for it. Dude, I just want to compete again. I'm just looking forward to like I just want to like have another man try to choke me in a competitive setting while I try to choke him in a competitive setting, and like that's all I want. I'm in shape again.
Somebody please get that piece of audio and edit out in a competitive setting.
Yeah. So, I got anything else, Josh?
No, I'm about to build a fire pit and have dinner, and it's going to be awesome.
Outstanding. I'm probably going to do the same thing. As always on the show, I'm your host, Maine, joined with my co-host,
Josh.
And we are the Grappling Rewind. We will see you on the mats whenever that is, whenever it's safe. If you like the show, please consider sharing it on Facebook with the folks at your gym. It's the best way that we grow the show, and we really appreciate it. You can reach out to us on email.
We also have Instagram. We have Facebook. We have Twitter. We have Google+.
Until that shuts down.
We have a website.
If you have an event you would like to have us cover, please let us know. If you have a name, like most people do, and you'd like to have us stop butchering it,
let us know.
Reach out to us. The show is also available on YouTube, Spotify, in addition to iTunes and every other podcast service. We very much appreciate your time, and thank you.